But in the meanwhile, two very interesting things have already happened way before you've completed this program, right?
Yeah.
Number one, you got a job after the first two courses,
Yes.
right? And that itself is an interesting story. You got like 3 job offers, right? Tell us about that. Is it because you have a training in math?
Yeah.
And
I liked
you had a
programming.
new interest in programming?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was a combination of a little bit of both, and it was like a natural ending point for me. So at that point, I started looking for stuff to what I can do. And one option that I had to do was say move abroad and do a master's program or something. That was not financially viable for me. And after looking around a bit, I think the best option for me was joining Univ.AI. I liked their course a lot. The course structure and everything I thought was very well done.
But in the meanwhile, two very interesting things have already happened way before you've completed this program, right?
Yeah.
Number one, you got a job after the first two courses,
Yes.
right? And that itself is an interesting story. You got like 3 job offers, right? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so as I said, I wanted to shift to a more tech-oriented role, and at that point, I thought I had enough background to, go search for jobs. So I started applying on normal portals that people apply. One thing that the course that specifically helped me was with the interviews, because in interviews, what people specifically want is they want to know that you know your stuff well. So they give you a programming assignment and all that, but beyond that, in an interview, they want to know that you understand stuff, and the stuff that you learn in Univ and the stuff that you do in Univ, it starts from the basics and then it goes there, and you also do a lot of stuff and you learn a lot of tangential stuff. And when somebody asks a question in an interview, it's very likely that you've already seen the question somewhere or you've thought about it before.
What job did you finally pick, and what was that job about?
Yeah, so the job I picked was as a machine learning engineer in a company called Skit. They are automating call center operations with voice bots. So it was an NLP tech company. I joined there as a machine learning engineer. Currently, I'm in the process of moving to I got a better job right now. That's more aligned to my interests, I think. And I'm moving there in a couple of weeks now.
And what sort of job is that?
That is, again, a data scientist, a middle management data scientist role in the research department.
When you say middle management, what do you mean?
Middle management in the sense it's not a junior level role. It's not a senior level role either. It's somewhere in the middle. I'm joining the research department at a company called MiQ. They are a marketing intelligence company.
So you're joining in the research department, you said. In just a short few months, even before you've finished a machine learning program, you're going from a super interesting machine learning sort of NLP role to another research role, but this time in a management capacity. Is that right?
It's not particularly a management capacity. It's in their research team, and I'll be working on optimization problems mostly.
Okay.
But it's my point of saying that it's a middle management is that it's not a junior role. It's not an entry level role. That's all.
Okay. Point made. So I think when we were talking, you told me something interesting earlier before we started shooting, that something about your pay trajectory, right? And people are constantly interested, much as one ought to be more focused on what you want to do than what you get out of it, monetarily at least. But tons of people are curious. So give us a sense of what's happened in the last year and a half.
Yeah, so from the point I was before I joined Univ as a business analyst, my income has become a little less than 4x. And since the last company that I was in, it's about around 2x. So I went from, after 2 courses, my income doubled, and it's doubling again now.
Okay, so not bad for a year's worth of work, right?
Yeah.
But I guess the real takeaway from here is that those who expect to see rapid growth right after pivoting to a machine learning or AI career would do well to remember that a little bit of investment of time is necessary. Absolutely. That growth happens, but do spend some time sort of working in the real world, and then your career will rocket. Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Clearly, you are treading what might be called the cutting edge of AI, right? And I think because of so much noise around there, it's difficult for people to separate jobs that involve stuff like sort of generative models and reinforcement learning from somewhat more bread and butter image recognition and, I think now NLP, right? And so tell us a little bit about kind of stuff like GANs and reinforcement learning versus, let's say, CNNs and NLP?
I first of all wouldn't say NLP and image recognition are bread and butter or that basic stuff, because there's still a lot of very good cutting edge research coming out of those two fields, and there's still a lot of work to be done there. It's just that generative models and reinforcement learning are a little newer than NLP or image recognition, and there's a lot more depth to be like experimented with there. And yeah, in that sense, I think you probably will not come across a lot of jobs that let you work with generative models or RL and stuff like that, and you'll get more jobs with image recognition and NLP. But apart from that, I do not see. I mean, I cannot say why one is better than the other or anything. It's just that your interest should align
Sure.
with it.
No, makes sense.